It didn't start with heartbreak. It started with silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that fills a room where two people are physically present but emotionally unreachable. The kind of silence that has a weight to it, a temperature, the kind you can hear. His name was Ayo, 27 years old, sharp-featured, careful with words, at least with other people. With her, he'd stopped being careful, not because he was comfortable, because he had quietly given up on being understood. He lay on his back in the dark, phone glowing against his face, thumb moving with the hollow rhythm of a man who had stopped looking and started consuming. Couple after couple on his screen, kissing on cliffs in Santorini, proposing on rooftops, crying beautiful tears at airport arrivals. Perfect light, perfect timing, perfect love. He put the phone face down on his chest, stared at the ceiling, then turned his head. Across the bed, Teni was facing the wall. Her breathing, slow, deliberate, could have been sleep, or it could have been the careful performance of it. 6 inches of mattress between them. It might as well have been a country. Ayo and Teni had met the way most people meet now, through a screen, a match, a first message sent at midnight because daytime felt too exposed. Conversations that went until 3 in the morning, both of them lying in separate beds in separate apartments, feeling closer than they'd felt to anyone in years. That closeness was real, but it was also incomplete. They texted every hour, voice notes full of laughter, playlists sent back and forth with songs that meant something. There was a warmth in all of it, a genuine, honest warmth, but it was a warmth that existed best at a distance. In person, they ran out of things to say in under 10 minutes. The connection they'd built lived in the blue light of their phones. Face to face, without the buffer of a screen, they were two people who knew each other's opinions, but not each other's silences. Still, they stayed together. Not from cowardice exactly, from something more human than that. The hope that if they stayed long enough, the distance would close. That proximity would eventually become intimacy. That love would figure itself out. That hope is the quiet tragedy at the center of every modern relationship. People stay not because things are good, but because leaving feels like admitting something, and admitting something means looking at it, and looking at it means it's real. Modern relationships don't end when love dies. They end when the performance of love becomes more exhausting than the grief of losing it. Teni didn't notice when the shift happened. That's the thing about erosion. You don't feel it grain by grain. You only notice when the ground gives way. It started with Instagram, then TikTok. Hours spent watching relationships that looked nothing like hers. Men who wrote letters, who planned elaborate anniversaries, who looked at their partners with a kind of electric attention that didn't fade. Couples who laughed at inside jokes in airport terminals, who held hands across dinner tables, who seemed in every captured moment to be exactly where they wanted to be. She began, without realizing, measuring Ayo against these images, not against other real men, against content, against the most carefully selected, professionally lit, strategically timed moments of strangers' highlight reels. Why didn't he plan surprises the way they did? Why didn't he post her more? Why did his version of love look so quiet, so undramatic, when online it looked like fireworks every week? What she couldn't see, what the algorithm was designed to prevent her from seeing, was the argument that happened an hour before the rooftop proposal, the resentment behind the anniversary smile, the nights those couples lay on opposite sides of the bed, phones glowing, comparing themselves to someone else. The trap is this: The people you compare your relationship to are doing the exact same thing. Everyone is losing a race no one admits they're running. And once comparison takes root, it poisons everything it touches. Nothing your partner does feels sufficient. Every good thing they offer already discounted. Ayo had a different wound. He believed, in the uncomplicated way that no one had ever challenged, that love was a matter of showing up. Stay faithful, be present, don't cause harm. In his mind, those were the terms of the contract, and he was honoring every clause. He didn't understand that Teni wasn't looking for a man who wouldn't leave. She was looking for a man who would arrive, fully, without his phone, without his armor, without the habit of emotional distance that men are trained into from the time they are old enough to be told not to cry. When she went quiet, he gave her space, because that's what he would have wanted. When she cried, he problem solved, because that's what he'd been taught strength looked like. When she said she was fine, he believed her, because believing her was easier than asking again. He had all the ingredients of a good partner. He was simply assembling them in the wrong order, and no one had ever taught him differently. That's the part that deserves grief, not judgment. He was doing the best he knew. The tragedy is that the best he knew wasn't enough, and he didn't know that either. Modern relationships are drowning not in cruelty, but in emotional illiteracy. People who genuinely love each other, failing each other in ways they can't even name. People who want to be close, using every strategy except the one that actually works. Honesty, vulnerability, the terrifying act of saying, "This is what I need. This is what I'm afraid of. This is who I am," when no one is watching. Then came Dami. Not a villain, that would be too simple. Just a man who paid attention at the moment she most needed to be seen. It started with a comment on one of her photos, then a DM, then long conversations that went late into the night, the same way it had started with Ayo 18 months ago, before the words had worn thin and been replaced with scrolling. Nothing happened. Teni was clear about that, at least, in the version she told herself. But something was happening. She smiled at her phone more than she smiled at the man in the same room. She crafted her replies with a care she'd stopped giving to Ayo. She felt with this stranger the thing she'd been trying to manufacture at home, the sensation of being chosen. Attention is the cheapest and most addictive form of affection. It costs nothing to give. It means nothing by itself. But to someone who has been invisible for long enough, it feels like oxygen. Ayo noticed. Not the specifics, not yet, but the shift in her. The way her eyes went somewhere else while she was still standing in the kitchen. The half smile she swallowed when he thought he wasn't looking. He noticed and said nothing, and the saying nothing was its own kind of slow damage. Because what he didn't understand was this: he wasn't competing with Dami, he was competing with the version of himself he used to be. The one who was still curious, the one who still asked questions, the one who hadn't yet confused familiarity with intimacy. He was losing to a memory of himself, and he didn't even know the race had started. The worst kind of ending doesn't announce itself. There were no explosions in that apartment, no slammed doors, no dramatic ultimatums delivered in the rain. There was something far harder to survive: the accumulation of ordinary silences. Dinners eaten side by side, both screens face down as a performance of presence that neither of them felt. Laughs that arrived a half-second late, like dubbed audio that didn't quite sync with the picture. Hugs that lasted exactly as long as they were supposed to, and not 1 second more. They stopped asking each other questions. Not big questions, those had been gone for months. Small ones. The ones that say, "I'm still curious about you. I still want to know what you think. I still see you as someone worth discovering. Those questions are the metabolism of love. When they stop, love doesn't collapse. It simply, quietly, without ceremony, starves. And here is the thing no one warns you about. Two people can share a bed, a lease, a last name, and still be more alone than they were before they found each other. The loneliness of a failing relationship is a specific and terrible kind, because you have someone right there, someone who knows your coffee order and your childhood and the sound you make when you're trying not to cry, and still, you feel unseen. That loneliness is the kind that breaks something structural in a person, the kind you carry into the next relationship without knowing. It was a Tuesday, not a significant one. Ayo came home to find her on the couch, phone in hand, wearing the expression she saved for the parts of the day that didn't include him. He sat beside her. Seconds passed. 10, 20. The TV ran its noise. Then she said it. I feel alone even when you're here. 7 words. They arrived in the room like a verdict. He didn't argue. He didn't defend himself, because deep in the place where he kept the things he didn't know how to say, he recognized the feeling she was describing. He had been carrying the same loneliness. He had just been calling it something else. Stress, tiredness, a rough patch that would pass. It was not passing. It was becoming permanent. The conversation that followed was not a fight. Fights are easier. Fights have energy, have direction, have the catharsis of release. This was something quieter and more devastating. Two people who loved each other finally being honest about the distance they had allowed to grow between them. The distance that had grown not from hatred, but from 100 small choices to say fine instead of the truth. She told him about the loneliness. He admitted his fear. She confessed that she had let someone else's attention fill the space she should have asked Ayo to fill. He admitted that he had seen her drifting and said nothing because asking the question meant confronting the answer. On the bathroom floor, of all places, in harsh overhead light with nowhere to perform and no curated feed to retreat into, they talked the way they should have been talking for months. Not beautifully, not cinematically, honestly. She blocked the number, not because she was asked to, because she understood, finally, that she had been using someone else's attention as a substitute for a conversation she owed Ayo and herself. He told her he chose her, not from habit, not from comfort, actually chose her, and that he had forgotten, somewhere in the middle of ordinary life, to keep showing her that. Here is what the story of Ayo and Teni is really about. It is not about cheating. It is not about incompatibility. It is not about finding the right person or the wrong person or whether love conquers all. It is about a generation of people who have been given more access to love than any generation before them. More ways to find it, more ways to display it, more ways to consume it, and less education in how to actually do it. We are overstimulated and emotionally underprepared. We have watched 10,000 relationships play out on our screens and absorbed almost nothing about how they actually function from the inside. We know what love looks like performed. We have very little practice in what it feels like lived. We have confused attention with love. We have confused posting with showing up. We have confused being in the same room with being present. We have confused not cheating with being faithful and being faithful with being enough. None of these are the same thing. The phones are not the villain. Social media is not the villain. The villain, if we must name one, is the assumption that love runs on autopilot. That once you found it, you simply maintain it the way you pay a bill. Show up, don't cause harm, expect it to last. Love is not a subscription service. It is a living thing. It requires the specific, terrifying, unglamorous work of knowing another person and allowing yourself to be known again and again, even after the newness is gone, especially after the newness is gone. The question modern love demands, the question that Ayo and Teni finally sat on a bathroom floor and asked each other, is not, "Are you happy?" The question is, "Are you still curious about me? Are you still willing to be surprised? Are you still choosing me?" Not because leaving is hard, but because staying, when done with intention, is the most profound thing two people can do for each other. A week after the bathroom floor, things were not fixed. Fixing takes longer than a week, longer than a conversation, longer than a single night of honesty after months of performing. But something had shifted. The phone stayed on the table more. The questions started again, small ones, the ones that say, "I'm still here. I'm still looking." One evening, she asked him to tell her something she didn't know about him. He laughed, embarrassed, and admitted he had cried at a movie they watched on their third date and had been hiding for a year and a half. She laughed the real laugh, the one that covered her mouth, the one he hadn't heard in longer than he could remember. And in that small moment of embarrassing honesty, something that had been closed opened back up. That is where love lives. Not in the sunset photos, not in the follower counts, not in the perfectly curated evidence of a life together. It lives in the willingness to be seen, fully, unglamorously, without the filter, and to keep looking anyway. Modern love is not dying. It is waiting for us to grow up enough to deserve it.